Yo, what's up, everybody, and thank you for tuning in to another Tyler Perry Sisters review. If this is your first time coming to my channel, welcome. If you are a returning family member, then you already know what it is and what it always will be. Be sure to like, comment, share, subscribe. Tell somebody to tell somebody, all that good stuff if you choose to. If not, just sit back, relax while we get into this messy thing. So this video is basically me reading a DM. And, baby, I got a whole lot of them. It was a whole lot of Danny. Danny is a good friend. I don't know why you going in on my good sis like this. I said, well, damn. Okay, all the Danny advocates. But I chose one in particular, and this is what I try to do. When I go through the DMs and the messages, I try to choose one that most people have asked about or talking about, and I try to tie it in with the most recent episodes. So this one here, I'm not going through all the trouble putting a screenshot on the screen. Y'all just listen. So this person said, sometimes I think you're too hard on Danny. She always thought that Andy and Karen were holding things from her and Sabrina, and they were. I feel like Danny is just tired of Karen's BS, and Danny has never been afraid to speak the truth. Even though Danny is a part of the sister circle, they have never been there for her in her time of need. They are constantly judging her. Danny has been through a lot. I want to see the other women have grace for her because she has been through it. Well, sis, I want to thank you for expressing yourself and in your advocacy to defend Danny. But this is my response to what you sent. And I do, in all honesty, I do appreciate you. I feel as if, why should Danny be the only one that grace is extended to? Why should Danny's behavior get overlooked and justified? Because, as you stated, she's been through a lot. All of them have experienced a lot in the little bit of time we have had to experience their life. Starting from your first line, you stated, sometimes I think you're too hard on Danny, which is perfectly fine, and you have every right to feel that way. Honestly, I believe that I'm someone who speaks candidly about the character of Danny. Danny has never really been my cup of tea because I've always viewed her as one of those women, or just an individual who has a lot of emotional trauma, and she has refused to deal with it. And now, she's in therapy, so she's dealing with it. If we can really call it that, because Danny really be playing in that therapist's face, but that's a whole nother video for a whole nother time. And she tends to strike out towards those who she says are her friends and are her sisters. Now, in no way, shape, or form am I stating that some of the things that Danny has stated to Andy, Sabrina, and Karen has not been truthful, because it has. But I am someone who views 90% of what Danny says to these women malicious. Downright vile. Damn near want to say evil. Because I ain't gonna lie, some of the things that Danny has said, I'm like, nah, sis, I was with you and then you made a sharp left and I had to jump off because I can't get with you. I can't get down with this. I just can't. Even though she is deemed as the one who keeps it real, the one who's going to always tell the truth, and the one who's going to always stand on the truth. That's how she has been presented, even though I feel like it's a sham and a scam. And if we keep it all the way real, the truth is supposed to bring liberty, and it's supposed to bring freedom. When Danny reveals her so-called truth to these women, the truth, in my opinion, is not released for their benefit. It's a way for her to take a jab. However, there have been moments where I believe that Danny's heart was in the right place, and I'll touch on that a little later. Now, since we love going back to the first season to bring up receipts, let's go back there. Now, Danny calls a meeting for all the girls to come to her house because she's in her feelings, because she finds out that Andy has been messing with a married man and she didn't know about it. But she knew that Karen was aware, and she didn't like that. You know what I'm saying? She didn't like that. Which goes to your point of Danny feeling as if Andy and Karen keep things from her and Sabrina. And my response to that will always be, are we 16 and 17 years old? Did we just transport back to high school? Because at the age of 35 and 36, if I'm in a friendship where it's 4 or more women, I'm probably not going to tell all of them everything. And then when you get to know your friends, you know who you can turn to for certain things. You know who you could talk to about certain topics, and you know who you can't. And I always go back to the episode where Andy had invited all the girls out with Fatima. This was their first time, chilling with Fatima when they went out to eat. Danny and Sabrina was spilling piping hot tea that entire time. They talked about things that should not have been discussed in front of a complete stranger. So no, I wouldn't tell them a damn thing either. That's just me. Or I would tell them things I wouldn't mind the world to know. Because how dare y'all reveal each other's personal and confidential business in front of Fatima? Y'all don't even know this shit. So that episode there, I said, this is why Andy them don't tell y'all nothing. But then that ain't even what the issue is I had with that situation. Sabrina brings up the fact that Danny has also messed with the married man. And Danny tried to say, well, I didn't know he was married. I'm going to just play y'all the clip.
I mean, what the hell is wrong with her? Her? What? Oh. I didn't know he was married. But you found out. Yeah, and I broke it off. About a year later, Danny. Are you judging me? You know I'm not judging you.
And did y'all hear her bring up her famous phrase about somebody judging her? So this goes all the way back to season 1, episode 3. Danny has no issue bringing up someone's faults, bringing up someone's shortcoming to prove a point, or as she has deemed herself, being the truth queen. But when the truth is revealed to her, when the shoe is on the other foot, she takes it as disrespect and judgment. There you go. Just showed y'all the clip, live and in living color. And that's just what it is. Danny is the type of individual who can dish it, but she can't take it. Now, sis, I'm gonna say this now. I love you. But when you mentioned that the sister circle has not been there for Danny, that is an absolute lie from the pits of hell. Now, I ain't trying to come at you, but over here on this here channel, we're going to operate in truth and honesty. Okay? Okay. The women have been there for Danny a number of times, and I'm just going to talk about the ones that pop up in my mind as I'm speaking, freely with this video. The first thing I think about is when the women were concerned about Danny. They went to her house to do some type of intervention. Now, granted, I'm going to say I don't know why the hell Andy was there. Because the moment she gets into Danny's house, she asks if Danny has any alcohol. Sis, we're doing an intervention. Why are we asking for liquor? Sabrina was acting all passive as she normally does. Karen was the only one, in my personal opinion, who was really there to voice her concern about Danny and what was going on with Danny. And Danny somehow, in the way that she does, was able to twist their love and concern for her as if they were judging her, as if they were condemning her and coming down on her. And what did Danny do? She proceeded to tell each and every one of them about themselves. Not that what she was saying was untrue, but it's like, we're here for you. We're here to check on you because something is not right. And what does she do? She hits below the belt like she always does. Then she goes to the bar. The bartender calls the girls because Danny is getting litty. Straight litty. And not a little bitty. Okay? So the girls come. And even in that moment, they all began to apologize. First it was Andy. Then it was Sabrina. And then Danny looks at Karen and said, well, what about you, mama?
We ain't coming down on you, okay? We love you. You our sister. We do. Yeah. All right. Okay. Okay, now can we please get out of here? This alcohol scent is making me sick. Come on.
I'm like, why the hell y'all apologizing to her? So when I look back and when I see people who say certain things and when people operate in absolutes, the women are never there for her. The women always judge her. They always come down on her. That is not the truth. Because I can't say that Danny always has something slick to say. Danny always, she doesn't always. So to operate in those absolutes, that's just untrue. And it's not, I don't think it's a fair assessment to put that on any of these women. But I will say that there have been moments that these women have attempted to rally around Danny, and Danny normally gives them her ass to kiss. Now, this is a trigger warning before I even get to this part, because I'm going to be talking about abuse, domestic abuse, and I don't want to trigger anybody or bring up any, horrific memories for anybody. So I just wanted to say that before I get into this next part. Now, the only time I have ever seen Danny operate with a sense of urgency and just was bare and vulnerable with anybody, it was with Andy after Jonah physically assaulted her, because it wasn't a time to be phony. That was a very serious thing. And as I watch, I'm not going to play the audio. I'm just going to show the visual. When I listened to this scene again, it was so sad and it was emotional. And Mignon did such a great job as portraying, Danny in this particular state. And it was one of the first times, and maybe the only time, I've seen her express herself and just be real and vulnerable. And this is when, and I ain't the biggest Andy fan either, but this was a moment in time where Andy was really there for her friend. And so watching these women, and if you listen to the live that Erica Vane and I did last week for Our Sister's Keeper, and we talked about, like, I didn't have a definition for friendship, but I know what it's supposed to look like, and I know what it's supposed to feel like, and I know when it doesn't fit, what I'm saying, that image or that emotional attachment. And when I look at these women, it's so hard for me to view them as friends, let alone sisters, because of how they treat each other and how they talk to each other, and rallying around each other almost comes like once every blue moon. And to me, that is not a description or a image of Black women uplifting and being there for each other. So it's already a detachment for me anyway. Now, getting into this nitty gritty of Karen and Danny, I don't know what the issue is with them. Because there have been moments within this series that we have seen Danny be a friend to Karen, just like we have seen Karen be a friend to Danny. And these two particular scenes I'm going to show is when Karen was going through the situation with Zach, when they was in the thick of it, and Danny was just being there for her. She was being compassionate. She could understand where Karen was coming from. They embraced each other, and it was real, and you felt it. I don't know how we got to where we are right now in season 7 with them.
I'm sorry. Yeah. It's okay. What are friends for? Thank you, Danny. You're welcome. But I do need you to pay me for a weed. No.
I really don't. A lot of the things that Danny has stated about she's tired of Karen BS. What exactly are you tired of? You tired of the baby mama drama? How exactly does that affect your life, sis? I'm trying to understand. And then, even in this message about how Danny has always, stood on the truth and being truthful, that's a lie. She told Zach, and she expressed to Tony just how much Karen pretty much irritates her. But then you run to the salon back on the grand opening to tell Karen, we gonna be there for you, sis. I'm gonna be a good auntie. And you don't even like this woman. You want to know more things about her life, and then when she shares them with you, this could have been a text message. Oh, okay, a text message, all right. But then you're mad when you're not included. And then going back to the first season, when Sabrina revealed to Danny, like, Danny, you've been with a married man too. Danny didn't think that Andy and Karen knew, but she did because Sabrina told them. Like, that is normal. That happens a lot in friendships. I tell you, then you tell the other one, so on and so forth. That's just what it is. But when I look at Danny and Karen, I don't know how they got to where they are now. I just don't. And people love to bring up the fact that, Karen has always said, little slick things about Danny. And I'm like, why are we acting as if Danny hasn't either? And I think that's one of the things that get me when people come on my channel and say, oh, you don't ever hold Karen accountable. Oh, you don't ever call her out. I'm like, baby girl, did y'all not listen to my reviews in the 3rd and 4th season? I was on Karen's ass. She was getting on that last nerve you got. Baby was tap dancing on it every Wednesday. Because as a woman, and Black people are not a monolith. So we don't all move as one, think as one, view things the same. There are some women who could truly understand Karen's actions during that time. And I wasn't. I understood Karen's emotional state, but I did not understand her actions. Because for Allie, I am not a woman who is going to chase a man, especially after you told me you don't want to be with me and you said this in such a malicious way in front of another woman. I'm going to take my big hurt, boo-boo. I ain't chasing after you. I'm not popping up at your house. Those were things I have never done in my life. I have never popped up on somebody. Now, I done went through a phone or two back in the day, but I ain't never did that. Just come home. You know this way you supposed to be. I ain't begging. I don't know what it was, but it used to do something to like my spirit watching Karen beg Zach to come back to her. And I'm like, why are you begging this man? And he's a no good man at that. Why are you begging him? This not even a good man. That thing, when I tell you, that used to irk me so badly. Like, I could not understand it. I'm like, Karen, I understand you're hurt and all of this stuff like that. But sis, you doing entirely too damn much. That's just where I was during that time. I got a playlist. Go look in the playlist season 3 and 4. Just go listen to them. If you want to say you always and you never do. No, sis, you ain't listen to the right reviews. But going back to what this video is about, I truly am perplexed just about how we got to the current state that we are in with Karen and Danny. And then there have been times when Karen was attempting to be a good friend and then she got cussed out by Danny.
I think your ass is being messy. No, I'm not. Don't do that, Karen. Don't. What am I doing? Well, your ass is mad at Zach, so you want the whole world miserable with you. I don't know what you mean. Well, Karen, thanks, but I'm not like you. I don't tell a man to leave when I really need to stay, so. Okay, Danny, I thought I was helping you. Don't do that, Danny. Do you not call and tell me everything that Zach is into, including Fatima? Oh, so we getting even now? No, I thought you may want to know. Why? You never asked about anything else with him. Look, that's your man. Or so I thought. I don't know. We're trying to figure it out.
Danny takes it as you're mad at Zach and you just want the whole world to be mad too. And Karen was like, look, I thought I was doing the right thing. Like, he's your man, or so I thought he was, which go back to something that Erica and I state all the time. Danny does not invite these women into her life. So when people say that the women are not there for her, how can they be? Just in this situation right here, that was the first time that Karen had even met Preston. And look how long Danny had been dealing with him. She treated him with respect. She did not say anything crazy. When Danny met Aaron for the first time, what did she say? Oh, where is Zach? How is Zach doing? And it's like, sis, for real? So I've always had that issue, especially on my channel when people bring up the things that Karen does. I say, you know what? Y'all do Karen like some of y'all read the Bible. You read one scripture and then you omit the one before it and the one after it. Like, no, that is a triple. It's a triple. It's the bun, burger, and then bun. I'm going to need you to read all 3 of them. Don't just take one out because you like it or because it tickles your fancy. And I think people have a thing where they look at Karen's reaction or speak on her reaction, but never choose to talk about how did she get to that place? What happened that caused her to respond that way? And I think she's just one character that people just love to do that to. And I think that when they get to someone who doesn't just bash her for no reason, they don't know how to take it. It's like, oh my God, you're not bashing Karen. Oh, okay, then you got to be a Fatima hater. And it's like, nah. I ain't no Fatima hater, but I'm going to call her ass out just like I do everybody else. She ain't exempt, at least not on this channel. And just as you said, sis, to kind of sum everything up about, the women showing Danny grace, I think they all should be shown a level of grace. I think they all need to talk about just the dynamic of their friendship and their sisterhood, and maybe they will come to the reality that it really doesn't exist. It just doesn't. I love seeing Karen and Danny being affectionate and allowing their emotions to take place when they are around each other, because I think Ebony and Mignon have great chemistry when they are in those moments. And we really don't get an opportunity to see that because they tend to normally be at odds. Because I would say out of the friend group, they are the most, strong-willed individuals. So we'll see what happened with that. But I just wanted to address this because I'm like, I thank you, sis, but some of this stuff I just don't agree with. And you might not agree with what I say. That's the beauty of it. That's the beauty of having an opinion and a perspective. But I want to thank you for sending this in. I want to thank you guys for listening. And until next time, I will holler at y'all later, and y'all be safe out there.